Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results in your neighborhood. Now it's 6:30.
This is News 6 at 6:30, getting results. Thank you for joining us here live on News 6 Plus. I'm Ginger Gadsden.
Glad you're with us tonight. I'm Matt Austin. There's been some fires today across Lake, Volusia, and Brevard counties. Let's bring in meteorologist Jonathan Kagas. Jonathan, not a lot of humidity out there for us, huh?
Not a ton at all. No, you can certainly feel it out there. The air even drier than what it was yesterday. It's helping the fires get started. The one positive, in a relative sense, is that the wind is not that strong. So that in itself is helping firefighters get them back under control on the quick side. But the air is so dry. Anytime you see the relative humidity, and it's the humidity that's relative to the temperature. So the dew point that we talk about a lot in the summer, it's in the 70s. It's not even close to that right now. When it's far removed from the actual air temperature, we get these percentages very, very low. That means there's not a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. So fires get started much easier that way. And of course, the brush is already dry out there. There you go with the breeze. Again, it is a little breezy, but certainly we're not talking about 20 to 30 mile per hour gusts. So that is helping things. And again, in a relative sense, it's easy for things to get started, but it's also a little bit helpful anyway to the firefighters that the gusts aren't that elevated. 70 degrees just about by 9 o'clock. We're keeping things mainly clear and mainly dry, not only for tonight, but really for at least the next 7 days. We're going to take a look at that part of the forecast coming up at about 6:47, guys.
Jonathan, thank you. One factor making the wildfire situation so tough right now is just how dry it is out there. That's just one of the reasons for the burn bans.
News 6's Catherine Silver talked with Lake County's public safety director about the risk.
It has slowly been crescendoing up. Yesterday there was a pretty significant brush fire in the city of Groveland.
We met with Chief David Kilbury as days go by without significant rainfall, so we could not only talk about the fire danger,
It was going in several different directions and access was a challenge.
but actually see the drought conditions in Lake County.
You can see in here, this is traditionally what would be called native Florida. The amount of debris on the forest floors from last year's hurricane is what has us concerned greatly right now.
He pointed out downed trees and dry leaves. As we made our way down the sidewalk, you can see just how much debris there is.
It is literally like saltine crackers. If someone was to pull their car over in this debris to make a phone call, the heat from the catalytic converter could cause this to combust.
It's the state we're in. Parts of Lake Marion and Volusia counties are in severe drought, the darkest orange on this map. And it's exactly why here in Lake County, a burn ban is in effect.
This is common in Lake County where you would have a home that's right up against a more wild space.
Right. So you can see a lot of things here that probably are going to go to the landfill at some point, and they just haven't got around to it. We've got plastic materials in the wildland, keeping a yard mowed, keeping it watered, not allowing leaves in the gutter. Errant embers that could blow from a wildfire could make this a structure fire rapidly.
It doesn't take much.
Not at all.
In Lake County, Catherine Silver, News 6.
You know, it's a really serious situation, and I still cringe whenever I see someone throw a cigarette butt out the window because it happens all the time, and that could just start things
And we
really
have
bad.
seen in past years, it's been a while now since we've had a really nasty wildfire season, but it can happen around here. Volusia County could change up where you're allowed to drive on the beach. The county council voted unanimously to start the process of expanding beach driving in Daytona.
Yeah, right now, this is where beach driving is allowed. The expansion would be from International Speedway Boulevard to Auditorium Boulevard, where it currently is not allowed. News 6's Molly Reed is on the beach with the possible effects of the area.
This section of Daytona Beach is where Ocean Deck Restaurant is, the pier and boardwalk are. Now, some businesses in this area have been pushing for this change for years, even getting rejected at this time last year, but they finally just got their first green light from the county council.
This section of beach is the widest in our area that has any chance of having beach driving, so you have way larger lanes to turn in, way more to do.
Tom Caffrey, owner of the world's most famous brewery on Main Street, thinks adding driving back to the beach here would help with the resurgence for businesses on the beach and even across from A1A.
It will create a loop that goes from International Speedway to Main Street, or Main Street all the way down to Silver Beach and further, and allow all of this to be a cycle again and create that kind of fun drive atmosphere.
So why is there not any beach driving here now? Back in 1996, the county passed a rule where beach parking is no longer allowed if a certain number of parking spaces had been reached on land. So in this stretch, that ended about 25 years ago when the Ocean Center was built, with about 1,500 parking spots. Now, some people who pushed for that change back then want to keep seeing this beach be traffic-free.
We're not a sleepy town anymore. We're not 1980. We're okay with the laws right now. It's worked beautifully.
Bob Davis is the president of the Volusia Lodging and Hospitality Association. He believes the beach should stay clear for visitors who would rather visit a traffic-free beach.
Opening up that portion of the beach for people who have been coming for years, such as the Hilton. They expect no driving.
So what are the next steps? Well, it won't be the quickest process because they just got the ball rolling, but I'm told next the county will meet with the city of Daytona Beach, the stakeholders around here, and the state legislature to figure out what they all need to do going forward. In Daytona Beach, Volusia County, I'm Molly Reed, News 6.
All right, what do you think? You comfortable on the beach with people driving?
Absolutely not. When I first moved here a decade ago, I didn't understand what was happening. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina, where you could not drive on the beach, and we went to the beach all the time. So seeing it here, and it's, you know, it can be dangerous, especially, you have kids, you have little ones.
Well, I'm from Florida, and most places you cannot drive on the beach. They love it there, and I get why they want to protect little spots of it.
Sure.
But when I go to the beach, I want to relax, enjoy myself, and when my 6-year-old is trying to run across that busy street that's on the beach, I find very few things more anxiety-inducing. So
yeah, they're already in the water. You got to watch them then, too.
I avoid those areas like the plague. All right, less than a week after a convicted murderer was picked up in Central Florida after he was mistakenly released from prison, we've learned one of our local jails is now using eyeball scanning to ensure that never happens here.
It sounds very science fiction-y,
Yes,
right?
it
And
does.
it's all using state-of-the-art technology. News 6 anchor Eric Von Anken goes inside the Flagler County Jail for a first look at how it's protecting our community.
An inmate coming into the Flagler County Jail has a few stops. First, the fingerprint machine. Then the rapid ID machine. Suspects charged with felonies even have to give their DNA. Now, every single person coming in has to look into the iris scanner.
Put that right up to your eyes. Just gonna look right there into the eye. Good, you can put it down.
So this is Commander Lou Maselli, the operations commander here at the Flagler County Jail, who just did the demo for us, Commander. Everybody who comes in the jail gets this treatment.
Yes, that's correct.
Why?
Because we want to be able to positively identify people.
No mistakes.
No mistakes.
This is better than any of the other tech you have?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because the iris is unique.
The commander tells me that eyes are actually better than fingerprints or facial recognition. The reason is because your eyes, your irises, have 265 unique characteristics in each eye.
Identical twins don't even have the same iris.
Wow. So twins couldn't even fool this system.
No. The odds of it happening is 1 in 10 to the 78th power, so whatever that big number is.
This, of course, is Sheriff Rick Staley of the Flagler County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff, I didn't realize how exact this iris scanning technology is.
Even FBI now is building a database with this technology. So you're trying to take the human error out, a booking or a release, because people can exchange the bands or the IDs. Well, you cannot exchange your eyeballs.
You're building a database with this, but so are other law enforcement agencies across the country right now.
Absolutely. So we're all pouring this information into this database.
And then this checks with all of those databases.
Oh, yeah.
And the sheriff wants everybody to know that taxpayers did not pay for this. This didn't cost Flagler County anything, he says, because the company behind this technology is giving this to law enforcement agencies across the United States. Their goal, he tells me, is to build their iris database. Sheriff says he's happy to be part of it. We're in Flagler County. Eric Von Anken, News 6.
Sounds kind of creepy. We're building an iris database.
Did you ever see the movie Minority Report?
Yes,
and
I
that's
did.
what
Tom
that
Cruise.
makes me think of that.
I think of that as well. Right now, Flagler County estimates it has a couple hundred pairs of eyes in its database. It's a weird thing to say on the news.
It really is. Okay, so Sheriff Staley says once irises are recorded, that identification database will eventually take over for fingerprints because it's apparently more accurate.
Still need fingerprints though, because people don't leave their irises at a crime scene. You know, it's how you identify people.
One would hope not. That crime went wrong.
That would be a weird.
All right, it's Central Florida's #1 news website, clickorlando.com. So let's check out what is trending. The Sunshine State is home to the oldest building in the entire Western Hemisphere. The Miami Visitors Bureau points out the ancient Spanish monastery is nearly 900 years old. Historians say the building, located in North Miami Beach, was first built in 1141, meaning it existed close to 4 centuries before Christopher Columbus arrived in the Americas.
Yeah, the headline got me on this one because I was like, that math isn't right.
Yeah.
It's technically true, but it's also cheating here. So it was created in northern Spain. Then a businessman bought the building to have it shipped to the United States in pieces. They say it's the biggest jigsaw puzzle in history. The mission to reconstruct the monastery took around 19 months, which I'm kind of impressed with.
Yeah, it's nothing a forever stamp can't handle.
$20 million. So they took it apart piece by piece there in Spain, kept the nails, and then they wrapped everything in hay, shipped it over here on boats.
That's why it's authentic. It's got all of its original pieces.
It's the real deal.
It really is. Love it. And here are some of the other stories trending right now on clickorlando.com. A new ranking has caused quite a debate here at News 6. Prado has been ranked as the best Italian restaurant in Florida.
Would you debate that?
I think it's really good, but I think we have a lot of good Italian restaurants. Terzi.
Oh, okay.
Remember?
I haven't been to Terzi.
Okay, I've been. Yeah, Jonathan Kegas has given me the fist pump. According to the website 5 Reasons to Visit, the Winter Park restaurant is quite popular, but of course, everyone has their favorite.
The Austin family loves some Prado.
I'm not saying it's not good.
No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're just saying there are a lot of good places, but their pizza there, they make it
Oh
like
my
right
gosh,
in front
it's
of you.
authentic, yeah.
Oh, it's ridiculous. And the Oviedo Mall is politely asking moviegoers to not throw things during the chicken jockey scene in the new Minecraft movie.
What are these words you're saying?
I don't understand. I'm reading things off the teleprompter. I don't know what it is. The challenge apparently encourages viewers to shout, throw candy, money, popcorn, drinks during the showing of the movie. But it's not very fun for others trying to enjoy the movie. Not to mention the theater
that
staff
part, right there.
who has to clean all of that junk up. I have seen video of this. I didn't
is
know what was going on.
disgusting.
People just going insane because of this chicken jockey.
But you see the floor, and it's going to create a nasty mess. And also, popcorn is not cheap. That's all I thought.
I
That's
like
just
that's where
wasted
you.
money.
It's like throwing eggs around. Are you crazy?
Yeah, no. All right, we're taking a road trip for the best eats in Central Florida.
Coming up on today's I-4 food tour, we introduce you to a Japanese pop-up steak place with a big flavor.
You don't want to miss that. But first, Restoring the Shore, the conservation mission for one nonprofit to help bring some green back to the water.
You're watching News 6 at 6:30. We are live on News 6 Plus. We're getting results for Sanford, the Villages, and all of Central Florida. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Your Wednesday evening traffic alert. We're going to see those heavy lane closures on the Florida Turnpike overnight. There is no rain in sight, meaning we will see consistent construction. No shutdown here, but those slowdowns right around Mineola and Claremont, we'll see there. Some lane closures scheduled overnight right around I-4 and World Drive. And then those heavy ones, both on the south end of 417 and up here, northern portions up in Seminole, all lane closures, both left and right-hand side. Just make sure you're paying attention. I'm Trooper Steve with the News 6 Traffic Alert. Drive safely, and I'll catch you in the morning.
Well, for nearly 2 years, we've been following the progress of a project by the nonprofit Restore Our Shores. They've been planting and monitoring seagrass in the Indian River.
Until now, that grass has been coming from commercial nurseries around the state, but they just reached a new milestone, one that came with a surprise.
So we're at Palm Shores Shoreside Park. We got a lovely sea breeze coming through. Oh, that's a big old rhizome.
It's a big day for Vaughn Snyder and the team from Restore Our Shores.
So our goal today is to plant 80 of these.
And they're not about to let a little wind ruin the party.
This wind makes the water a little bit turbid, and they are having a little issue just seeing, which is the big part.
The volunteers are part of the conservation arm of the Brevard Zoo.
Historically, seagrass was very thick throughout the lagoon, and we've seen its decline, in recent years.
The Indian River Lagoon has lost more than 90% of its seagrass since the 1970s. Scientists think it's mostly due to stormwater runoff, leaky septic tanks, and fertilizers.
So seagrass not only is food for a lot of organisms, but it's also a home for a lot of juvenile organisms. It stabilizes the sediment. It takes nutrients out of the water column.
So today, as part of this experiment, they're face down planting more.
Yeah, you can only see like this far in front of you.
Visibility may be low, but optimism is high.
I'm a native Brevardian. I've always been on the water. I'm a fisherman. It's the creatures in the life, the sea life. That's what gets me out here.
They're planting grass grown in their own nursery, not too far from here. An accomplishment in itself, but then something really special happened.
Oh, it just looks like a little piece of brown rice.
The grass began to flower.
A little grain of rice.
Snyder says that's something few have seen in the wild, let alone in a controlled setting.
The seeds are even smaller, and those get us even more excited. Hopefully, we can reproduce this event and publish it, and other nurseries can use it to create a seed stock.
And while the present may be murky, projects like this one ensure the future appears clear with possibilities.
It would be lush, thick beds of seagrass with all kinds of creatures living in it, and manatees eating on it out there. And hopefully by doing seagrass plantings like this, we can restore the life, the ecosystem that was once in the lagoon.
I really love what Restore Our Shores is doing. They're doing the Lord's work. Can you imagine getting that excited about something
about
that's
that
the size
teeny
of
little grain of rice?
Yeah,
that was impressive, and it's just fascinating to see and hear him describe what it could look like one day.
I know.
It at one time it might have seemed like a pipe dream, but now
but it's gonna happen eventually one day, and it didn't go away overnight, so it's not gonna come back overnight. I'm just happy that those guys, the young guys, are out there doing the work because it's gonna take them. All right. Let's take you outside right now. This is a lovely look at our Mount Dora camera. Beautiful out there. What you can't see is probably how warm it's been out there all day. Meteorologist Jonathan Kekas joins us now. We talk about how glorious this weather is. It really is fantastic, but you can't overlook how dry it is.
That's right, yeah. We need some rain, and we need a good dose of it. Not all at once, of course, so it'd be nice if we can get a half inch here, maybe an inch here, half inch here. But of course, it doesn't happen like that. And that's what we need to do.
Is there any on the horizon?
No, there's none. Honestly, over the next 7 days, just a very, very slim chance, and that's going to come early next week. We'll take a look at that in the 7-day forecast. In a little less than 3 minutes, even drier air pouring into Central Florida now. There's our front from last night. Again, we talked about that. It was not going to make things much, much cooler. It shaved off a degree or two, a little bit more on the coast because it put our wind direction out of the north and east off of the relatively cooler Atlantic, but high pressure, that big blue H, building over parts of the Florida Peninsula as we get into tonight and tomorrow. 80 in Leesburg, Sanford, good evening. We are at 78. Palm Bay, we're checking in at 75 degrees right now. And they mentioned it before. We talked about this over the last several days. We would likely see the burn bans really start to expand across Central Florida. Yesterday we added Polk, we added Volusia, and today we added Orange County into the mix. And the number here that we're paying attention to, you might hear this a lot, and we're going to show you this to keep you posted in your community, in your neighborhood, about the Keach-Byram Drought Index, because once this number gets to 500, that's the critical number that burn bans start coming into play. And what this index indicates is just how dry things are. So it's a rolling checkpoint here of where we stand in the drought situation, how dry the ground is, how dry the tinder is on the ground because of that as well. And again, getting above 500 is the bad area. So we want to stay out of there. Sumter, we're well into that. Lake, we are way into that. The orange zone there, 556, again, on the chart, on the scale above my head there. We want to get onto the left side of this. Orange getting to 500 today, initiating that burn ban. We're likely going to get there in Seminole, if not tomorrow, certainly by the end of this week. And things are going to continue to get drier and drier, of course, without any rain. Here's a live look right now in Daytona Beach. We're back to the low 70s, a little cool out there, and that's because of that breeze off of the Atlantic at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Now here's a look at tomorrow.
Your forecast is sponsored by the Florida Lottery.
A touch cooler tomorrow, and you can thank the drier air for that. Again, not much change in terms of the afternoon today, but with high pressure moving in, calming the winds even further, and with the air being so dry, we will drop into the 50s. Look at this, even a couple of 40s popping up on the map tomorrow. So certainly a little cooler tomorrow morning, and then we're going to warm things right back up because, again, the air is so dry. Back to the mid to upper 80s again. We could start things off right around 49 in Denellen tomorrow, and then make a run for 90. That's how dry the air is. And again, that happens, that big, we call it diurnal range, that change the afternoon happens at this time of the year when the air is very dry. Mid 80s Friday and Saturday. Over the weekend into Easter Sunday, we're pushing 90 degrees. Lower 90s on Monday, jumping and staying in the lower 90s for the early part of next work week. And again, mentioned that rain chance was tiny. There it is, 20% shot on Tuesday, guys.
Jonathan, thank you. Our next stop on the road is Claremont, so if you live there, we want to hear from you. What makes your community so special? What are your concerns? And how can we help you get results? Let us know now at clickorlando.com/hitstheroad. Fill out the form and don't be surprised if you hear from us. Keep streaming. We'll be right back.
Coming up in the morning, the rising cost of cocoa putting the squeeze on Easter chocolate sales.
And that has companies switching to alternatives. The new sweet treats coming to life, all designed to save you some cash.
Plus your weather and traffic every 10 minutes. We'll see you for News 6 Mornings starting at 5.
News 6 is getting results for Harbor House of Central Florida. Tomorrow, volunteers will be taking your calls and your donations to help the organization's animal shelter. So get out your wallets, get ready to help. Volunteers will start answering your calls at 4 tomorrow.
If I don't have the meat sweats by the end of this episode, we've done it all wrong.
That's Wagyu beef. You know the outcome, it's the black medallion.
You don't need to take a plane to Japan to get authentic Wagyu beef. Today, this RV from Giant Recreation World is taking us to Devour Steakhouse to get that legit Wagyu. So this is some of the most expensive meat in the world.
100%.
And you're sticking this in sandwiches in Central Florida?
Sandwiches, tacos, and steak tips.
This is Devour, a pop-up steakhouse that serves legit A5 Wagyu beef imported straight from Japan. You'll have to find them on Instagram to get your Wagyu fix. So what are we gonna be making?
So we're gonna be making the Japanese A5 Wagyu steak sandwich for you.
Okay, so you're making a $29 sandwich. Do people ever come up to you and say, are you crazy? You want me to pay $29 for a sandwich because they don't understand?
They don't understand it until we give them a sample of it. And once we give them a sample, I want that.
If you told me I could get real Wagyu steak from a pop-up, I wouldn't believe you. There's no way, but it's real, and it's spectacular. First bite.
First bite, everybody knows the deal?
Everybody knows the deal, yeah, first bite. Portnoy me. All right. You ever taste something so good that it makes you mad? That like, I've never eaten this before?
Why did it take you so long to enjoy it?
I am 41 years old, and I just, for the first time, I'm trying this buttery, insane beef. So juicy, and there's a crispiness with the bread in there, and it kind of soaks up the juices of all that butter and fat. God bless you, my friend.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Premium luxury A5 Wagyu straight from Japan with my friend Dan here. Another episode of I4 Food Tour in the books. And I got a mean case of the meat sweats. Yes.
Sponsored by Giant Recreation World. Visit Giant Recreation World today.
All right, now leave me alone. I'm gonna eat this. Get out of here, come on.
Your poor chair doesn't deserve the meat sweats.
All right, let me say, the sandwich was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
They actually have certifications with each one. They have the number of the cow from Japan. A lot of places say it's Wagyu beef, and it's not really. You can tell by looking at it from the marbling that was the deal.
It's A5. If you need A1 on your Wagyu, it's not A5.
That's pretty good.
I like that.
They might have to steal that. Good stuff.
Copyright. Hey, thanks for watching News 6 at 6:30. Stream News 6 online anytime on our News 6 Plus Smart TV app.
I'm going to go air out these meat
man,
sweats.
get out.
Remember, we break news at clickorlando.com.
We deserve better.
We'll see you at 11 tonight.